Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mystic Medicine. I am Dr. Niikee'sha Fae, Mystic Mentor, Wisdom Teacher, Spiritual Guide. I'm here to support you with your evolution. If you have been tuning in to my previous shows, you probably see how we work a little bit differently, possibly to what you're used to. And so I guess what the difference is that I work a lot with energy and the recognition that we are made of energy. And from there, it's the energy that we can cultivate internally, willingly, can become to create the world around us. And I know that can sound really far-fetched, but I'm sort of assuming that if you are coming to these types of transmissions, you are already on that path of awakening and are aware of how much more information is available to us now about how we can play more of a role curating lives that we desire, rather than being stuck in that unawareness and just allowing our old stories most of the time that keep repeating and keep us in that space of suffering. And that's probably one of the first major, I guess, steps in that realization, is that we do have more of a choice than we believe to create in our lives the way that we desire. And because everything is energy, the energy that we hold on the inside of us becomes to be reflected on the outside. And, it can become a bit like a chicken and the egg when we've been, sitting in that space of unawareness around that, sitting in the space through our generations as well. We pick up a lot of beliefs and attitudes and, other habits and mannerisms and behaviors from when we're young. When we're hanging around our families, when we're young, they talk about us not being able to discern the difference between self and others in the first couple of years of our lives. And because we are like sponges, that we do take on a lot of these programs from our ancestry in those very first few years of life without even knowing. And then, the wonders of the subconscious is that we hold a lot of our experiences in the subconscious, particularly experiences we haven't allowed ourselves to process, or we haven't been able to process because we are so young. When we are young, we don't have the skills to be able to sit with why we're feeling upset and, try to create solutions or different ways of being for ourselves so those patterns don't continue to repeat. And, unfortunately, we're not taught how to cope either in school, much to the, not dismay is not the right word, but it's like it's really quite astounding. That's the word. I find it quite astounding that, really basic functional, how to human, how to do life skills don't really get taught. Things like communication, things like managing emotions, managing stress, all of those key things that really help us to be able to have an okay time at this journey. Because, let's face it, there is always loads and loads of stuff going on. And, when we realize that we can choose our focus as well, we can really start to weave a lot more change through our own lives. And it's really about just being present to what's happening. And am I on a cycle of repeat? Like, is my mind continuing to repeat a particular story that keeps going round and round and round, recreating itself? And this is literally what happens because our subconscious doesn't know the difference between real and imagined, that as long as we're holding on to things that continue to be repeated in our minds, that our nervous system feels that it's happening all over again. And so, just considering the magnitude of that, like just because we can't see it and we're not participating in it, what our mind does is continues to recreate the same scenarios in our beautiful nervous system. And, when our nervous system gets triggered, we lose connection to our prefrontal cortex. This is our front brain, and our front brain is what does a lot of our problem solving. And so, while we're in a stress state, we can't actually think clearly. It is physiologically impossible to think clearly when we are stressed. We lose capacity for not only problem solving, but also things like how to behave, like socialization behavior, they call it, recognizing consequences for action. And, we can see that so much woven through when people are stressed. When people are stressed, we literally cannot access how to behave properly, how to behave from a place that isn't going to create more problems. And so, the importance of recognizing then, are we in a stressed state? And when we are we capable of having rational discussions with people? Are we capable of problem solving? Or do we need to take a moment to bring ourselves back into a calm space and then reevaluate the best way to go forward? Once we calm down, we get that reconnection again to our problem solving. And, so one of the easiest ways to lower a stress response is to slow down your breath. And so if, you're in a space of being chronically stressed and you're used to shallow breathing, it's not uncommon because, we've never been taught these things, these really simple, basic life survival skills, that when we shallow breathe, that it's activating a stress response. So it kind of goes chicken and egg with that as well. So if you take a moment now and just notice how you breathe, and if you're shallow breathing, can you allow yourself to slow the breath down just as best you can? It's a practice like everything, particularly because if you've never done these sort of things before, it's like anything. You just hop on a bike and ride it, not very often, right? So, when you turn inwards and feel your beautiful breath and just slow it down. Just slow it down as best you can. And as you slow that breath down, maybe you can start to draw it a little more deeply. And as you do that a few more times, you might actually feel yourself starting to relax. The other beautiful thing is that when we're thinking about our breath, when we're focused on, bringing that breath down further, our mind isn't running away on us. That's fascinating. So we can't actually be stuck in our heads when we're connected to our breath. And literally, if you do that for a few minutes and just try the best you can, if you're a shallow breather, you can become a deep breather. It's like any skill. It's just taking the time to entrain your body to be able to start to gently take deeper and deeper breaths. And then what happens is that when you can start to make more full lung breaths, that it stimulates our vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is the one that puts a brake on the stress response, like literally. So our breath can stop a stress response in its tracks. And there's so much research on it as well, which I find really fascinating. I did write a review paper on it a couple of years ago. If anyone's interested in that, I'm happy to send it, or you can find it on my website under other resources as well. There's heaps of stuff on there that, if this type of thing interests you. So practice with that breath. Like, it is so simple because it is. It doesn't need to be as complicated as, we make it as a modern society as well. And so practice with the breath. Let me know how you go with it. It really is life-changing. It's quite remarkable. All right, we have time for our first caller. Was it Christy? I think. Let me find the chat. Beautiful Christy. Yes. Hello. Are you there?
Yes. How are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, what's happening? What would you like to bring forward today?
I don't know. I just want to basically act like my life, what's going on now and what's to come, and I'm going to be able to handle it. Or
yeah, okay. So, well, what I'll do is I'll just take a moment. I'm just going to tune into your energy. And so I'm being drawn to your throat space. And it feels like there's some constriction around your inner communication. And so it feels like you are receiving intuitive information. So whenever you say have a reflection about, what you should be doing, when you ask yourself questions like, what should I do in this situation and that situation, it feels like you know the answer to it. However, there's doubt. There's like doubt that then it's almost like what they're showing me is there's this stream of information coming down, because this is our communication center. It's not only communication that we speak, it's also communication that we receive, which is not just from the outside world. It can be communication from our inner world as well, but then also from our intuition, so from our guides or our inner wisdom. And so what they're showing me is you're receiving inner wisdom that is being negated. And what it's doing is it's sending a spin off into your mind, and then your thinking mind is just trying to make sense of it and overanalyze. And then that's where, a bit of confusion comes in then. Are you able to resonate with that?
yes.
Yeah, so what the guides are suggesting firstly is to trust more, trust that you do know, Because what happens is when we receive, because we receive insight, when we receive information, when we block it because we're not listening, or we decide that there's no validation to that information, we then jump into the thinking mind, and our thinking mind then tries to over process. And so firstly, they're suggesting that you trust more. And what you'll find is the more that you trust, the more confirmation you'll receive that you can trust what you know. And then that starts to open more and more of the gateway into more and more information being available to you as well. Because what happens is every time we don't trust, it shuts the door again. And so it's like they're knocking. I go, here's your answer, whenever you ask. And so what you might do is practice spending some time in stillness. It doesn't have to be long. And as you breathe into your heart space. I'll just get you to do that now. If you can do that. What happens when we breathe into the heart space is it redirects the energy from our mind into our wisdom higher self that lives in our beautiful heart. And so as you take a few breaths in and out through your heart space, are you able to connect with that?
Yeah.
And just allow yourself to feel that open spaciousness of your heart. You might even slow down the breath. So when we're more relaxed, our energy is more open as well to receive. And as you breathe through your beautiful heart space, you might connect in with the energies of your true heart, which is that unconditional, a beautiful gratitude and joy and appreciation. As you breathe into that a little more deeply, how's that feeling for you?
Nice.
Yeah, so as you keep your awareness in your beautiful heart space, and just I'll get you to ask yourself, what would you have me know now? And allow yourself to receive the answer. Are you able to receive? Sorry.
That I'm trying.
Yeah, it's more like a relax into it. So receiving information is a receiving, it's not a seeking. And this is the practice, because ever since we're at school, we're taught to try and seek an answer, and that's a different part of the brain. And so receiving the information is really that state of opening, relaxing, and allowing the information to come through. And so I'll leave you with that practice, but the information that I received is you're on the right track. So you're on the right track, whatever it is. It's like you have a desire to move forward in a particular way, to go with that. That feels like it's the doubt that's creating the confusion and not so much the situation. It's more the doubt. So if you spend every day 5 minutes in your heart space and allowing your nervous system to spend more time in relaxation, I'd work with that slowing down the breath a few times a day just to help you to be more in your body and get comfortable with relaxing. And what you'll find is it will be easier for you to receive information because it's there. They're showing me that your inner wisdom is there for you. It's just getting the conditions right to be able to receive it. So that's relax, hop out of your head, come into your beautiful heart space and sit and allow the insight to arrive for you. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, good luck with it. I know you can do it.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Lillian. Hi, Lillian.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. What would you like to bring forward for us today?
I just it's okay. So I want to ask about the kids. They're grown up and stuff. My daughter has some mental health issues, and I just wondered, do you ever see them being happy, healthy, and whole?
Mhm.
Like both my kids
Yeah,
suffer from depression, right?
yeah, yes. Right. So, depression is a disconnection. It's a disconnection to
Right.
self and disconnection to source. I'm just checking in whether there's a line working within universal law that I'm unable to enter a person's energy field without their permission.
Right.
Yeah, that's just with through my guides. I mean, I could, but I know that that's not within the laws of the universe.
Well,
Can you ask the question around you?
sure. Okay. I got hurt from work. I
Sorry.
am in major amounts of pain. I'm just wondering because the last 7 years have been not so much fun. I'm just wondering if you ever see me being a little more happier than what I have because I mean I got injured on the job and honestly it's depressed me and I'm just wondering if I myself could just be a little bit happier, maybe win a little bit of money, move, I don't know, right? I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
it's almost like I
Yeah.
wanted sorry?
Yeah, great question. Great question. Um,
Yeah.
as if we listening to the beginning of this call where we were sharing about frequency and how everything's frequency.
Right.
Yeah. So what happens when we believe that we're stuck in situations that we don't like? It perpetuates that energy. And so that kind of
Right.
lower frequency energy continues to magnetize
Yeah.
itself. And, it's the
Right.
same with all energy, magnetizes itself. And so while you're feeling like you're trapped in a job that you don't like, it's
Oh no, no,
continuing
no.
to
I lost my job. But what I'm saying is for now, money's an issue. So I'm just wondering if
Yeah,
you
okay.
see any changes.
Yeah. Okay. So what would be
Because I've been trying to
really,
do my frequency higher. I know that. Yeah.
yeah. And, it's even beyond working with frequency with just the mind. It's about that embodiment. So, coming into your heart space. So the heart space is a really beautiful space to help raise frequency. Relax, come into your heart space, and can you access the absolute truth that you're always okay?
Yeah. Okay.
And, sit with that. And when you sit with your beautiful heart energy, my awareness is getting taken to your abdomen, and
Okay.
it feels like, there's, constriction around that area, and it is related a little bit. There's your children weaving in there as well. So the energy of the children reside in the sacral, in the womb space. And so
Right.
what you can do is work with the energy of water. And so you can imagine. Yeah, so you could do a practice every day as well as tuning into your heart to keep that beautiful frequency raised, because that'll help your body reharmonize and your energy reharmonize more easily. But I would work with your sacral area and envisage water flowing through there.
Right.
So beautiful water, because water's cleansing and clearing. Yeah, and the energy of flow.
Funny that you
know
say
how
that, because whenever I feel low, I go to the water and I just look at it, to the beach.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, amazing. And so
my children are older, just to let you know, but it's just, I really, really hope that they'll just be happier, and that's all I was saying to you, right?
Yeah, totally. And everybody's sovereign, especially when they're older. And so sometimes people's journey is the way that it is to reach a particular point that their soul desired to reach as well. So that's
of course
why we kind of don't interfere with people against their will, so to speak, because their journey.
No, my daughter totally believes in this stuff. So
yeah.
So I just want to, between me and you, do you see a move or anything for me, or no?
I think if you connect in with the water, so next time you go and look at the water, the energy of water is about flow, so is about movement. And so it feels like with a lot of that energy accumulating in your sacral area at the moment, it's creating stuckness. So it's actually creating that stagnation. And so if you consciously work with water every day and envisage the flow, see if you can feel the flow moving through your sacral area, and work with that for a few weeks, because it's going to help to remove some of that stuckness, because it feels like moving will be beneficial, but it's going to be more difficult while that energy is stuck. And so consciously working with the energy of water, even when you're in a shower, sorry, I've got like 30 seconds left, even when you're in a shower, just envisage it moving all the way through your body, just clearing out the past, because it's the past that is what keeps our energy stuck as well, and then keeps everything stuck in the world around us too. So hopefully that's helpful for you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, keep working with the water. Miracles happen.
I will. Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you again next week.